it's more of the same. Rates are going to stay higher for longer. Rates are not going to come plummeting down anytime soon. In fact, all the major players, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, major investment banks, are all predicting that mortgage rates are still going to hover around, the 6% range pretty much all through next year. So for those of you looking for or waiting for, the even the low fives, high fours, it's going to be a while. And forget about the twos and threes. Those are in the rearview mirror and are going to continue to be farther back in that rearview mirror. Those are not coming back anytime soon. We are where we're at, and all we can hope for is some modest improvement for the next period of time. So with that, we're going to do a little bit of a different segment this time. Jeff's going to come back on, and we call it the AMA, the Ask Me Anything segment. So Jeff's got a bunch of questions ready for me, and see if I can pass this little pop quiz. Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. First of all, I'm so happy that there's only 41 bowl games because now I can actually fit them all in. So thanks for clearing up, because I was stressed. I'm like, how am I going to get all these bowl games in? But I agree with you. I think we're going to see the attendance viewer-wise a little higher in the Army-Navy game.
I think so.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to throw this out here to the folks that are online right now. If you have a question that you have for Art, anything about mortgages, whether you're an investor, you're a senior thinking about one way or the other, should I do a HELOC, those kind of things, please put your comments in, and I will grab those. We do have a list of some that have already started to come in, and so I'm looking forward to doing this. It's called Ask Me Anything. So here we go. Here's the first one, Art. The first one is, I've been on the sidelines waiting and hoping for rates to drop. Do you think waiting is to my benefit, or should I take action now? Now, I know this could be kind of slanted because you're a mortgage broker, but I trust your honesty and just transparency that you'll give me the right answer.
Well, what's interesting about the question is I would have to say there has been some, and I'll underscore or underline, limited benefit for waiting on rates to drop. What I mean by that, and of course I urge everyone all the time, you can all do this yourself, get online and Google the 10-year Treasury bond yield. And you can see a history of the yield going back several years, pretty much for a long period of time. And when you look at that, one of the things it tells you is it was true in around middle of 2023, the 10-year bond yield basically was hovering right near 5%. And at that time, you may recall, we were on conforming loans, we were in the 7s, and there was some concern about we were heading to the 8s. So from that perspective, yes, it's true, waiting for rates to drop, at least if you've been waiting since that period, has had some limited benefit. We're not in the 7s. Most lenders are saying they're still in the low to mid 6s. We've been telling all of our viewers for a while now that most programs, we can still offer rates in the high 5s. So from that perspective, waiting has had some limited benefit, albeit that's pretty limited still. The idea here is if you're waiting for rates to get substantially better from where they are now, I would argue that's probably a little bit of a fool's bet. I wouldn't urge you to do that, in particular when you consider the other factors and parameters in the market that I think make it maybe a better time, if not the right time, to start, stop waiting and get into home ownership. Because you've got to think of things like there is more inventory in most markets. That's certainly true here in the Coachella Valley. Inventory is not, totally back to the normal 6 month of supply based on the sales rate, but it's getting closer to that. It's certainly in the 4.5, 5 month range. Days on market, of course, has gotten more extended now. It's more like 60 plus days to get the home sold versus, before we were 30 or less not too long ago. The ratio of list price to actual sell price, that's running, like, again, in this local market here where I'm at in the Palm Springs, greater Coachella Valley area, that's running around 96%. In other words, a home, if it's listed for a certain price, selling on average at 96% of that initial listed price, What does that tell you? There's some juice there, call it that. There's some room. If you're a buyer, there's some room in that list price that you can negotiate some pretty good benefits in terms of seller incentives, i.e. credits. Use that towards your financing. So if you're already waiting and have been waiting for rates to improve, and yes, we've had a little bit of improvement over the last couple of years with the other factors, homes on the market longer, the closing price per the versus the list price now at around 96, in some markets even 95%. The fact that with that greater amount of inventory, longer days on market, those are all signals for you as a buyer to consider now as the time to buy. I know that's kind of a old stereotype. All of us in the real estate business, whether on the mortgage side or the real estate side, we're always saying now is the best time to buy. But truly, when these conditions, it probably is, at least in the last 2 to 3 years, probably one of the best times to buy in that period of time. So from that perspective, yeah, you helped yourself a little bit. Do you think it makes sense to keep waiting because now you want to go from 6 to 4.5? That to me is a wait that may no longer pay off, because after all, remember this too: if you're a renter, every day, week, month, year that you put off buying when it is your desire to buy, you're delaying that point in time where you're going to start building wealth.